Hey Nicole, how you been?
Good afternoon. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty busy morning already so far. Yours too?
It's always busy here in my world, but yeah, just been full of just transition. My son's going to college, so we're doing all kinds of college stuff. So
That's great. Going to college. I don't think a lot of kids do that nowadays, do they? Really go into college. They do.
well, some do. I always just say do. I don't want them to go if they don't really if they're just gonna go just to go because it's expensive and they're gonna have to pay for it. So but he wanted to go. He wanted to go. He's good doing biblical theology, so he's going to a Christian school. So
That's
he's
great.
excited.
What would you like to share about your autism journey? I know that you help kids with autism. You were a teacher, and so you kind of like worked with a few of them, right?
Yes. I am actually, last few years have been a fourth grade special education teacher. The past 20 years, I've been within the sixth, seventh, and fifth grade classrooms. And over the past 21 years of teaching, I've have had probably a handful of autistic students who are in my classroom. Higher functioning students, obviously, because I include them into my pull-out classroom. So I'm not in a self-contained autistic type classroom. These are higher functioning students that are able to handle being in the regular classroom with other students. So
Okay.
it's been good. I have one student that has graduated. He goes to my church and he sees me all the time and he's very affectionate and love him to death and he's doing really, really well. I'm so super proud. But it's really rewarding to be able to work with students
Mhm.
with autism because you never know the range they have and they're so super smart. They all have something within them that is special and just pulling that out of them and showing them that they can do
Mhm.
things just like everybody else has been rewarding.
Did you have to change like your tactics on how you teach the autism children?
Sometimes because some students have more just different flapping skills. Sometimes they flap and they have their little things that they do in the classroom. So there has been times where in my classroom actually they made the closet area when you first walk in sensory type room.
Right.
So if I do have any students that need a brain break or need something, I have some sensory things in there that can go in there and the lights are lit dim and they have some beanbag chairs and tactile things that they can settle down a little bit before they can come back to the classroom. But it's just over the years have been just knowing and learning and just trying to figure out just different ways to teach them because again they are all super smart, they just need different ways to learn.
That's great that you actually made that for them. A lot of teachers don't think of that. You don't think, oh, well, maybe make a safe place for, autistic children because they do need a safe place to feel comfortable, be more relaxed, helps with their regulation. So
Yeah,
that's great that
and I
you,
know that sometimes the other students get a little, not like they're scared, but they don't know what's going on sometimes when they have their little bursts. Sometimes they get a little loud, but we do explain to them. I always explain to them who they are and what they might see, and it's okay. It's not weird. It's just something that they are working through. And I will, at if those times ever come where they get a little frustrated or a little flustered, I'll just be like, hey, Tommy, go take a brain break. And I show them to the sensory room and they'll take like 5 or 10 minutes just to calm down. Sometimes they have aides with them, sometimes they don't. So I don't always have somebody to help with that. But it's just learning how to deal with it and just knowing that it's normal and just going along, just doing what's best for them so they feel safe and they feel they can learn just like everybody else.
exactly, that's great. You need a lot more teachers like you to be able to take that extra step, to help the other ones, because they always think of all the other students first before they think of, the special needs. And it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
something they need to come up with more, I think.
I feel like over the years, there has been a lot more students that have been on the spectrum.
Mhm.
So I see it a lot of them again are high functioning. So you don't necessarily always know, but those that are a little bit more needy, I just needed to find a way to include them because I think that they need to be included in the regular classroom because they can learn.
Exactly.
They need to learn like everybody else. So I needed to come up, I just felt like I just needed to come up with a way to help them learn and feel safe and to have the other students feel comfortable as well and not think that it's weird or not normal. Just
Yeah,
so everyone feels accepted and there's no bully zone or anything like that in the classroom.
that's great. I think that's amazing that you were able to do that. And that I know you're not teaching no more, right?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my school district is really good with all that. We have actually every classroom has a sensory box
Mhm.
in their classroom. Not everyone sets something up like I do in my classroom, but
Yeah.
everybody has one and everyone gets trained on it just in case a student with autism or a student with special needs gets into the classroom. We'll have training on how to handle different situations. But I always felt, I don't know, I have a heart for them. I don't know why. I just like, I've grown up with knowing I've had neighbors that have had autistic the kids, and they were always in the neighborhood. People at my church have autistic kids, and I always just had a heart for them. So I always wanted to go an extra step to help them just feel comfortable in my classroom.
That's great. That's awesome that you do that.
Yeah.
What would you say that was like your proudest moment for your students or a few of your students for that matter?
I would just say when I see them take a breakthrough, but there's always like a moment where light bulb goes off, or I see them self-correct themselves. Sometimes when they first come into the classroom, they don't really know how to self-correct themselves or get themselves to a place where they know that they can get back into the learning zone. And when they can start doing that for themselves, and I don't always have to be like, stop the class and go to them and tell them what to do. And when they know when they're feeling frustrated or they know that they're just not getting it and they just need that break, they just know that they can just raise their hand and like, I know what they're talking about. So it's those moments that are really rewarding, I think.
Exactly, yeah. I would say, yeah, that would be great. Just know that you actually are reaching that child and you're able to like communicate with them better, you're understanding them better. A lot of stuff can
And the joy on their face when they get paperback or something, they get a really good grade and they're like, I did, like, they have pride in themselves. And sometimes I don't feel like it, that they feel like they can do it
Mhm.
because I don't think everyone believes in them like they should.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's a lot of understanding still. I think there's a lot of learning to do for teachers, a lot more training to be done. Hopefully that'll evolve more as we move on into the future.
Mhm.
But I love those moments when they just have that pride, that sense of pride that they did it and they did it on their own.
No, that's great. That would be very rewarding, especially in the teacher's point of view. Like, wow, I seen the child just happy and just like being basically being seen, basically. And so that's what I think is really great. I know that you're also starting your own thing too, right? Besides schooling, or besides being a teacher, rather, you're trying to
Yeah.
start the life.
I just got certified in October as a life and performance coach, and I just really want to help women to kind of the same thing is to kind of believe in themselves and get over self-sabotaging and limiting beliefs and things that they can do, because we can all do all things. We are strong and we have to believe in ourselves, just like we believe in our kids. We have to believe in ourselves. And I really feel like there's a need out there. I see it on social media. I see it when I'm talking to people that there's just a lot of like limiting beliefs within us. And I think it's a lot has to do with just the way we grow up, and we grow up in this mindset, these stories that we play in our head because of something that bad that have happened maybe when they were a child, and it just manifests and it just keeps us stuck in one place. So I really started to feel a need for that as I went through my own journey, and I really wanted to help that. So I reached out to someone that I knew that had a certification program, and I got certified in October, and I'm working towards getting my master's certification at the end of the year. So if you know anybody that needs life coaching, let me know.
I'm also gonna include in her in the description in the bio, so then I can actually do a bio you, so people can actually reach you and
Perfect. Awesome. Thank
yeah,
you. Appreciate that.
everything. We all need, even us mothers, we need some help with everything too. Just try to get our minds better and self-reflect and everything else. I know that you helped me a lot a couple days ago too with trying to get me used to being on the camera and talking to people. And so it's, I mean, you helped me realize by talking out loud and how what I need to fix and what I need to do.
And I always say we have to bring ourselves back like children too. Like we need help just like our kids need help. So I feel like we have kids and then everything goes to them and we help up all the younger kids, and we've cut ourselves on the back burner. And I think we need to bring ourselves back to the front just so that we feel supported, so that we can actually support others. So we're the best version of ourselves when we have belief in ourselves, and then we can pour that back into our kids and just makes everything and all the relationships we have better. So
I strongly agree with that also. I mean, we just don't think about it all the time. We always think about, taking care of others, and then we're just like, oh, we'll take care of ourselves.
That's the mother instinct in us all.
All right, that's great. Anything else? Did you have anything else to share that you?
I don't know. What do you want me to talk about? Whatever you want to talk about.
Let's see. Well, I know you were talking about your teacher, and so that you help the autism community. Do you also help with like, do you have other children too, like severely disabled kids or Down syndrome and stuff like that?
I haven't worked with them specifically, but there are, when I used to work in the intermediate school within our district, there was rooms that housed all the IU kids that needed more support. So they were in the building, and I always love to go in there and say hi to them and to meet them and to make them feel comfortable too. It's just my personality. I'm just extrovert. I like to help everybody. I like to show my face and have them feel comfortable, because it's not easy for them. It's not easy for them to come into a building full of hundreds of kids and to be different. And so I feel like that if I can make it a little more comfortable for them and to make them want to come to school and not give, and that kind of alleviates their parents then too, because it's probably not easy to get them to school every day if they don't want to go. So to make it easy for them, if they know they have somebody in the building or people in the building that they feel comfortable and they want to see, maybe that'll help the parents to get them to school and not have to be so stressed in the morning. Because with that, and then getting ready for work and all the things like that, I can just imagine all the stress that the parents have as well. So if I can do anything to alleviate any kind of stress or just lessen the burden of anybody, that's what I feel like I'm put on this planet to do. So I try to do as much as I possibly can. So the building that I work in right now, it's elementary. We don't have rooms like that right in our building, but in the high schools and the intermediate schools within our district, there are areas in the building where the IU comes in and works with those kids in the building.
That's great. So are you actually involved with the IEPs too? Do you do?
I do. I do.
Wow.
Yeah, because in Pennsylvania, the special education teachers are responsible for all the IEPs and setting up the meetings and all things like that. So yes, I'm very much involved in that. I wish I could hire somebody to do it, because that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do all the paperwork and set up all the meetings and do all the testing and monitoring and the lesson plans and the teaching and all the things. So
a lot of work, yeah.
It's a lot of work. I love it how in New Jersey, like I used to live in New Jersey, and New Jersey, they have an IEP team who specializes in it, and they do all the paperwork and teachers just teach. I'm like, why can't we have that in Pennsylvania? It'd be nice. It'll alleviate the workload. But yeah, just thinking about that now. I'm like, oh, a couple more weeks until I go back to school, and that's like when it all starts again. I have to read all the paperwork and get all that stuff done. I'm like, oh.
Exactly. I mean, as parents, we have a hard time with the whole IEPs because there's so many rules and so many regulations, and it's such a long paperwork you have to read, and you're just like, wow, okay.
Unfortunately, the parents don't want to take it. They'll just come in and be like, yeah, they'll nod their head and they'll say, okay. And they'll sit, and I'm like, okay, well, did you even listen to anything that I said? And a lot of times you see parents say they're going to help, or they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and they never follow through. And then they get mad at us for not whatever. And so that's another battle. It's a battle of parents and teachers. And I always say, I feel like since COVID, since the pandemic, I feel like, I don't know, parents don't want to be parents anymore, and they're kind of just letting it up to the teachers when that's not our job. So I feel like that's another thing on our plates too as teachers. Like I feel like the parents, we're the teachers, we're the caseworkers, we're all the things. And I'm like, oh, I have my own kids and family at home I have to take care of.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just wondering about the whole IEPs, because man, I know a lot of, maybe we can do another episode on that, just because maybe you can, explain it to the audience about like, okay, well, this doesn't even help us like, some of the questions and,
Yeah. So I can do what we do here in Pennsylvania. But I know every state is a little different because we get a lot of transfer students from other states and like get their IEPs and I'm like, I have no idea what this is even saying. Like,
oh, wow.
because I'm teaching in Pennsylvania for 22 years
Mhm.
and I haven't taught anywhere else. So when I get paperwork from other states or even from other districts within Pennsylvania, it's a little bit different, but I'm pretty positive that they can't be so much different. I can probably talk a little bit about like just the main parts of it.
Yeah.
I do that. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, because I'm very confused with it still. I read through it and I'm like, okay, I always ask questions.
Yeah.
Whenever I have my son's IEPs, I always ask questions. I always, like one time I denied it because I wasn't happy with what they were trying to do with him, and then they kind of got all mad with me. It's like, but I'm just speaking my voice. Trying to, since he can't.
Your child. So like you right, like the document's open. So if you ever have a question, if you don't like what's happening, you have every right to go and call a meeting and say, I don't like this is not working. We need to try something different. So I try to tell parents that as well. I try to make it as simple as possible and just as just I know that it can be stressful. It can be stressful to understand all the things and you don't have a certain amount of time when you have an IEP meeting and you can only talk about so much. So I tell them, if you understand something, if you don't like something, please don't hesitate to like give me a call and we can definitely talk on the phone or we can have a Zoom or we can come in and we can reconvene the IEP team. All students, your child, you're their advocate. So you need to be a person for them.
Yeah, that's like a lot of parents don't know how to advocate for their children. And that's one thing that, I wonder that people know that you can advocate for your child. It's not that hard, it's just about speaking up, just knowing that, how to teach your child.
Right.
So, just you gotta advocate for them and just try to get it better,
Right. Like sometimes that's why I love my life coaching too. So sometimes I feel like parents don't feel confident enough, that they feel inferior to a teacher when you're totally not. And they don't know how to speak up, but they don't want to feel like they want to people please and they don't want to ruffle any feathers. And so I don't think they speak up and then they get upset when something doesn't go wrong. And then we ask, okay, well, we do like you need to speak up and it's okay. It's okay if you're your kid. Who cares if you ruffle feathers? Like that's not your problem. Like it's you. So you need to speak up. So
yeah,
we have to just be more confident as parents too, to just be that advocate for your child and not feel like you're. Of course, I'm sure there's some people on the team, the teachers or whatever, who are gonna get upset, who are gonna but who cares? It's your kid. Like that's your blood. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, and eventually you support no matter what because
absolutely.
Even though they get upset about especially mainly it's about the whole time limit thing, the IEP, because they just want to hurry up and get the IEP done with, and so they don't want to listen, hear all the they just want to hurry up and go, okay, you agree? Yeah, no, okay, next one.
Right.
So, and plus they're so early in the mornings too. Do you have your IEPs early in the mornings?
It just really depends when my planning period is. The last couple of years, yeah, they're in the morning because my planning period usually first period, like when I come in. So like with the teacher shortage and with substitute shortage, like there's just substitutes to come in to take over our class so we can have meetings at different times. So it has to be during prep times, which for us here in my district is only like 45 minutes. We have 45 minutes, maybe an hour I can push it because my administrator will, send building who maybe can cover my class for like 10, 15 minutes. But usually minutes to an hour is all we really have. And it's gotta be the time that we can get in. So
yeah, that's
so
understandable.
unfortunately, the last couple of years it's been 9:15 in the morning is when my prep period is.
Yeah.
So And that always doesn't work. That doesn't always work for parents who work. So
I know
sometimes I'll
even
have
some don't
to,
even show up.
sometimes we're supposed to, sometimes I have to call them like when I'm supposed to be in the building. And my say is okay. I can't make any other teachers stay, but if I wanted to stay as a case manager, and one of the administrators is willing to stay, I can do like in the afternoon, but just get everybody on the same schedule thing. So I try to schedule them out so they can plan around it. I know some teachers that are like, I'm gonna send it like a week before. I'm like, I need to send it like a couple weeks before so they have time to plan. Everyone has a life, everyone has jobs, everyone has things that they're doing. So to give them time to.
Yeah, it's very true. I believe that. Yeah, I mean that's why I was saying, sometimes IEPs are tricky.
They are.
Some people actually too, they don't even go to these. Like some parents, like
Some parents just send it home, I'll read it over, I'll send it back. Like, okay, all right, well, that's up. I mean, as long as you sign that you said you didn't want a meeting, and I cover myself, power to you. I don't it, but if that's what you want to do. But yeah.
All right. That's great. It's kind of insight from a teacher's point of
Yeah.
view. This is like how your side goes and how our parents' side goes. It's definitely different, and definitely it's like sounds like chaotic on both our sides.
Different type of chaos on both ends, but
Yeah.
we gotta all work together. We can't all love the people that we work with. We're not always gonna agree with everybody in the world. But we have to be kind, we have to be generous, we have to be compassionate, and at the end of the day, it's all about the student. So it's not about you, it's not about me, it's not about any other teachers or administrators or anybody else. It's really about the kid and what's best for them.
Yes.
So whatever I do to just to help, I will try best to do so.
Yeah.
Sometimes parents make it hard, put a smile on my face and be like, yeah, okay. I try this. I try not to get flustered, and sometimes at the end of a meeting, and then I'll have to kind of be like, okay, I need to take a breather. I need to breathe and to regain my composure. Sometimes it's not teach after a meeting sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Work out of you, huh?
I get home, I'm exhausted. My husband's like, what are you? I feel like you were supposed to combat. I'm like, listen, you understand what it's like in the classroom these days. It's crazy. And he's a bus driver, so he kind of gets it because he has all the kids and drives them to school, but he doesn't have them all day long in the classroom, and he doesn't have to deal with all the parents all the time. So he kind of gets it, but he's like, you and you're fine, and like, you're happy, and you come home and you're like, look like you've been through war. I'm like, yeah, I've been through war some days, but
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Definitely not was when I first started teaching 21 years ago. It's definitely nothing like that anymore.
Because a lot of kids have a lot more short attention spans and everything too, because they're all in electronics and social media. Try to fight through that.
I don't know what it's going to look like in the next 10 years. There's a huge teacher shortage. No one wants to go into education anymore. It's kind of sad. They're giving so many incentives here in Pennsylvania for people that want to go into teaching.
Wow.
Because they're just trying to get people to start teaching.
Oh yeah.
So
I understand that. Yeah, my son actually, because he does homeschooling at home, but he went through 4 teachers in 1 year.
Imagine. And where are you at?
Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, there's some interesting going on here too.
I can imagine.
Yeah. All right. It was great meeting you. Great chatting with you again. I mean,
me too. Fine, let me know. Anytime you want me to come on, I would love to share whatever you want me to share.
All right. No, sounds great. All right. Talk to you later, Nicholle.
Thank you. Bye.